My next guest is Irish actor Patrick Bergin. Now, Patrick made his name in Hollywood, starring alongside Julia Roberts as the menacing husband in Sleeping with the Enemy, a box office smash and an iconic film. Now, Sean Connery was actually originally cast, but the part went to Patrick, who ultimately owned it. Now, his credits also include the memorable portrayal of Frankenstein in a TV movie acclaimed as following the book more closely than any other adaptation. Now, he's directed a Yeats trilogy shown widely in Ireland and available on DVD. Now, recently Patrick joined the cast of Red Rock, TV3's Irish continuing drama. Now, it's perhaps less well known that Patrick is actually a balladeer and will appear at Bush Hall, Shepherd's Bush on the 9th of April. And it's in that context I'm talking. Patrick, you're very welcome. Great to speak to you.
Good morning.
Patrick, there's many topics that could be explored with you, which I'll come to. Firstly, we're raising awareness that our listeners can go along and see you guesting with Brian Kennedy at Bush Hall, Shepherd's Bush on the 9th of April. I believe you have a passion for music and even have a recording studio. Where is that?
Yes, I'm in it right now, actually. I'm down on the south coast. It's in a place called Rottingdean, east of Brighton. And it's funny enough, I bought this studio from a Yorkshire guy called Michael Jackson. And as it turns out, he wrote "Blame It on the Boogie" for Michael Jackson.
Right. Okay.
So I've got this amazing coincidence there. Although he reckoned that when he sent in his tape, the secretary was afraid to throw it out, so it got put in the in tray. He's made his millions. He's gone off to Germany now, raising Shire horses or something.
Oh, right.
But yes, I have a studio here, and we've recorded some stuff here, and music is a passion.
Right.
I played with Brian only last week in Dublin. We did a concert for Haiti, and he was top of the bill there, and he's a wonderful singer, a great character, and I'm honoured to be supporting him in Shepherd's Bush on April the 9th.
Right, that sounds excellent. Bush Hall it's an attractive venue, I'll have to say. Some beautiful Edwardian structure.
I have never been in it.
Right.
I mean, I used to live in London, in and around Kilburn and Camden Town and places. And Shepherd's Bush was certainly on the map, but it wasn't a place I hung out too much.
Right. Now,
I can't theatre there. I used to go to occasionally.
Oh, right. Now the audience are right up and close to the performers. It's of a scale where people can get to meet the artist briefly, indeed afterwards. And I'm sure many would love to speak to you afterwards. And no doubt,
looking forward to it.
Yeah, no doubt. So many will have seen you in Sleeping with the Enemy as well as other of your productions.
Oh wow! Yes, Sleeping with the Enemy. It's certainly my name will be attached to that. It's thank God for Sleeping with the Enemy. It's given me a career in many ways, and it was a joy to work with Joe Rubin, the director. He was a wonderful guy, and of course Julia Roberts was a fantastic, beautiful, and wonderful actress. And the film itself has become a classic, if not at least a minor classic, if not a major classic, in the iconography, especially of thrillers. It was the first thriller ever to gross 100 million in January, February in the United States.
Wow.
Yeah.
You weren't a nice sort of guy in it, were you? Let's be honest.
Well, the film is actually a very interesting study of domestic violence, really, and so it was hard to play him as a nice guy.
Yes.
But at the same time, I mean, I think a lot of women did since then, rather, and certainly a few years ago, many said that they had found through watching that film an insight into their own position and had left their husbands because they realized that they were they're in a relationship of domestic violence.
Indeed. Now, we have a huge body of listeners who have lived in northwest London, past and present. Now, they'll be intrigued by another little surprise in your CV, which is that you're a teacher and actually set up a school on the Kilburn Swiss Cottage borders with an intake of youngsters you felt weren't being served in mainstream education.
Well, well, yes, indeed. Well, what had happened, in fact, it was called the Kilburn Workshop eventually, and it was the year the school leaving age went from 15 to 16, and there was a lot of young kids who just refused to go back to school that year, and especially around the Kilburn area, and there was an increase in crime. It was the old days of gas meters and things. They were rubbing gas meters. They were getting into all sorts of social problems. And, of course, they were second and third generation Irish. And I think that's one of the reasons I particularly got employed, because I had an Irish background. And the social worker was sent in, and he identified a group of about 10, and but they still had to be educated. So I had just finished my Bachelor of Education degree in Kentish Town, and I had worked in the East End, but then this job seemed much more attractive. And myself and a girl called Angela Monroe and another teacher who was a great carpenter, Alan Johnson, we set up this school, and the kids came to us, and we cooked and fed them and took them on trips, and then taught them the basic curriculum and reading and writing and arithmetic. And it was a great experience, and we got them all jobs and gave them a lot of stability. I think we lost one kid whose family had been in jail, and he wanted to join the family.
Okay. Now, you're well known for your film roles in Patriot Games and When the Sky Falls, and we've heard about your music career. Now, you're currently involved in a range of projects, and presumably it's satisfying to have influence in the arts and heritage sector. I'm interested to hear about your involvement with the amphitheatre to be opened by President Michael D. Higgins.
Yes, I live. My place in Ireland is near a place called Cloughjordan, which turns out to be the safest place in the world.
Wow!
It's been selected as because they reckon if there was a nuclear holocaust, cities like New York and LA and all that would last a couple of weeks. And the safest place would be in Ireland, and the safest place in Ireland is Cloughjordan, and it's a wonderful group of people. There's an eco-village developing there. There's already 40 households units set up. There's room for more if people are interested, and in the meantime, they're building, and we're building an amphitheatre, which fulfills what my father always instilled into me: the three things a person needs to live: a roof over the head, food on the table, and a rose, he said, a flower in a vase. And that's your spiritual and your artistic life. And it's each person that goes there will also be part of the farm, and they'll also have their own allotment. So it's a wonderful, wonderful experiment. And the president is indeed coming down on the 26th of April to cut the ribbon. It does need some more funding and ongoing maintenance and development. So it's anybody interested, they could look up Cloughjordan Arts and get involved if they so wished.
Okay, very, very interesting, I'll have to say.
Yeah, it's very, very, very interesting. It's the future, basically.
Indeed. Now, we've heard about your success in the US and your time in London. Where are your roots in Ireland?
Well, I was born in Dublin, born on Holles Street, and in Dublin I was raised in Drimnagh, down the road from where they're shooting Red Rock, Denore Avenue and places like that. So I was able to use my Dublin accent, you know what I mean?
Yes.
I had a wonderful time there shooting that, and my role in it appears in middle April there, 17th I think it is, it starts.
Okay, I'm definitely keeping an eye out on that. Now, what have been your musical influences?
I suppose, bottom line, Bob Dylan, but I was always interested in country music and Johnny Cash and people like that. And the Stones, rock and roll, and so it's that, so blues, rock and roll, and folk, my influences, and I've continued to be so. I mean, I don't get much better than Dylan or the Stones, and I love country, love Merle Haggard, and any number of people really. I've got a wide taste in that sense. And, I don't want a bit of disco now and again.
Okay, right. The Irish are known for their generosity in response to humanitarian crisis, indeed, as you've seen recently with that show that you mentioned earlier on. Now, on a lighter note, some may remember you from a top 10 hit in Ireland, The Knacker.
I'm surprised you even have the courage to say it.
Yes, I know, yes. It's a sort of a strange twist in that actually the travelling community have actually some have adopted it as sort of
They've embraced it, yeah.
As an anthem.
Yeah, they do, and if you go YouTube, you'll see them dancing to it and miming to it. It came about in a very funny moment. I was down at the Flag Hole in Brosna, it's on the borders of Kerry and Cork in there. And a friend of mine, Sean Casey, is a fiddle player, and I was with him. And I was being introduced to his mother, and he said, "Meet Patrick," and she said, "Hello, Patrick, and what do you do?" And I said, "I'm an actor." And she looked at me and says, "What did you just say?" I said, "I'm an actor." She said, "Oh, Mother of God, I thought you said you were an actor."
Right.
And I was telling this story in a pub in Dublin called Grogan's. I'm sure many of your listeners would know it. And a member of the travelling community, who I happen to know, came to me and said, "You can't use that word, Patrick." So this was a challenge at Red Rag, as they usually say. And I said, "Wait there. Tomorrow I'll be in." And I wrote this piece that's politically correct regarding a knacker. "I boiled down dead horses and I turned them into glue. If you give me any trouble, I'll do the same to you."
Right. Wow.
And it was a number 5 or 6 hit in Ireland, and it was, I did it on the Phil Coulter show and Eamon Dunphy show and all of that. So it was a bit of a minor hit and a bit of a novelty tune, as they used to call them.
Right. And by the way, is the band that you're fronting, does it have a name?
The Spirit Merchants.
Oh, the Spirit Merchants. Okay. No doubt, Patrick, it'll be a rare opportunity for the audience to see you perform. The combination of your good self together with Brian Kennedy at Bush Hall on the 9th of April. It's got to be a winner. And by the way, the fantastic entertainment with the both of you. By the way, you can book online at bushhallmusic.co.uk. There's also details on our website, irishradio.org. Patrick, listen, it's been fascinating speaking to you. Thank you very, very much indeed.
I'm delighted and thank you very much. And I hope plenty of your listeners do come and enjoy the night and see you on the road in the future.
Lovely stuff, Patrick. Pleasure to speak with you.
All right. Cheers, Gov.